Prado. Do you think we see him doing Supercross, mate? Obviously, you in America, you would have heard all sorts of stories and theories, and obviously he's been doing some interviews and training the Supercross. Everyone's saying, obviously, he looks good. Prado always looks good, doesn't he, mate? He's just so technical, and, you know, he always looks sound, and he always looks connected and planted. So what's your thoughts on it all? Do you think we see him at A1 and do a couple of Supercross rounds? Is that transition too much? Obviously, the calculations are just split second, and then riding Supercross and racing Supercross are two different animals. Seems like quite a massive challenge, even though he gets the great starts, but just racing in that environment in the stadium, there's a lot to sort of deal with, just coming off a few weeks of training this time around. Obviously, he did it many years ago as well, and that's probably looking like he wants to do it in the future. But your perspective would be great to hear on it all, mate.
Yeah, it's going to be an unpopular opinion, but I don't think that Prado should race Supercross this year. I don't think he should do the first few, and my bosses at Feld and NBC will probably not be happy with me if they heard me say that, but I'm trying to think what's best for Jorge Prado. And when I look at it, I just think he would be kind of straddling the middle too much, right? Because he needs to really kind of be thinking about preparation and rest and start working towards the international prep races for MXGP. Not thinking about, okay, we're going to San Fran and I've got to figure out the bike and Supercross. And I'm a big believer in pick one and go with it. And what I think he should do is exactly what he's done so far. Come over, ride some Supercross, get some testing in, work on a deal. He proved that he can ride Supercross. I think everybody watched him ride. He can do it, right? He's not going to be awful at it. I think he's shown enough to where his boss, you know, whoever, if it's Pit Buyer or whoever is making the decision, is like, yeah, that's good. We can work with that. Then come full time for 25, right? Go back in 24, defend your MXGP title, honor your contract, be fully committed to that. And then as soon as we finish at Matterley Basin, make the jump, come to America, practice all of October, you know, whatever, you get a little time off too. But then November, December, do your full training bit. I just think the risk of ruining 2024 is too high coming over for a few races where you're not going to be fully prepared, because I don't believe that he's going to spend all of November and December practicing Supercross like everyone else is. That's what the people he has to race against, they're going to be all in practicing Supercross and living, breathing, and eating it for the next 7 weeks. And I don't think that's necessarily what he's going to be doing. So not only does he not have any experience, he's also going to be behind the eight ball of what everyone else he's up against is doing. So we'll see, right? Nobody's asking me my opinion necessarily that matters on what he should be doing, but that's just kind of how I see it. I think there's not enough upside and too much risk to kind of just be half pregnant with Supercross and not. Especially if you're going to make the jump full time, there's plenty of time to worry about that at the end of 2024. Yeah,
absolutely, mate. Well said. And obviously it's sort of amplified, you know, stepping straight into that 450 class. There's no sort of getting your feet wet and a gradual against younger riders. You're against the best in the world that have done it for years and years, probably, you know, best part of 2 decades. A lot of those guys have been training and riding Supercross in some capacity. So it's a massive step, isn't it, mate?